Welcome back to another video in the Learn to Read the Tarot for Yourself and for Others video series. My name is Michelle and I'm the founder of Moxie Coaching. And in my coaching practice, I use the tarot on a daily basis. I use it to help clients break through some of their blocks, some of their barriers. I use it to help them tap into their subconscious. And now I want to be able to show you how to do the same thing. So join me as we jump into the next video, which is the Fool. All right, let's jump right in. So the Fool. Looking at the card, we notice that this guy is just about ready to walk off the edge of a cliff. He is not paying attention to where he's going, really not at all paying attention to what he's doing. And he just has this very carefree vibe about him, right? If we look at the card itself, we see some symbolism that actually helps us remember the meaning of the card or the interpretation of the card. So we have the white rose and the white dog. Both of these things denote this concept of innocence and purity. The dog kind of represents this excited innocence, and the rose is much more of just a traditional, plain old symbol of innocence by itself, kind of like the dove. Also, you might notice that there is a nice big sunshine, a la like a 4-year-old drawing in the corner. But the card itself just overall has this lovely, happy vibe of expectation. You know, what's going to happen? Where is this guy going? What's he doing? What's going to occur in his life? What kind of barriers is he going to run up against? And what kind of, um, triumphs is he going to have? Now, when we look at the keywords for the traditional meaning of the card, having taken some time to look at the symbolism, we're able to get a better idea of what this card actually is about without even knowing, without even opening that little white book that comes with the Rider-Smith-Waite deck. So, we can look at this like we have in front of us, we have this guy who is clearly not a poor person. He's got this fancy tunic on, lots of color in it. He has something around his head, like a laurel wreath or something along those lines. And he's just very carefree. So the idea of, well, let me back up. So he's carefree, but he's getting ready to walk off a cliff. He's not looking where he's going. He's not paying the least bit of attention to where his feet are. He's looking up, right? He's looking toward the future, sort of, when really the future is like, however many feet below on the edge of the cliff. But he thinks he is, oh my goodness, I'm looking at the future. My life is wonderful. I have my little knapsack and I'm off on an adventure. But look at this little knapsack. I mean, this guy should have a 20-pound backpack with him for the type of adventure that he is getting ready to embark on. He's getting ready to embark on this massive adventure of a new life. The Fool is the first card for a reason. It's this suggestion that the major arcana is a journey through life, and the Fool is the babe, right? The Fool is the naked little baby that is completely dependent on the world. So things like innocence, new beginnings, youth, lack of guile, somebody who just really has not a smart ass bone in their body. Someone who's naive, someone who has a very clear conscience. You know, this person is pure and innocent. Like I said, like this baby that's just been born. No, none of the past baggage that we have that we're carrying around with us. They have a lack of life experience and just basically a plain old lack of wisdom. Now, does this mean it's a bad thing? No, absolutely not. It's just what it is. So when this card comes up in a reading for us, these are the things that we need to think about. How is it that this concept of innocence, how is it that this concept of new beginnings or lack of guile um, fit into the information that we're trying to glean from the tarot? One helpful tip for remembering what the meanings are, the traditional meanings of the first cards in the major arcana, is that these cards can be associated with an archetype. And when we're able to associate these cards with a specific archetype, it will often help us sort of get a feel for the vibe of that card, again, without having to know every single detail of the card meaning. Archetypes are all around us pretty much all the time. Um, a lot of people will say, I don't have no idea what an archetype is. Well, yeah, you do, you just don't realize that you do. The archetype is a common or predominant theme in literature, in psychology, in art, in music, and I'm going to give you some examples so you have a feel for what I'm talking about. Anyone who has ever watched a superhero movie knows what an archetype is. So the hero is a very, very common one. Mother Earth is another common one. A religious leader is another one. And these archetypes all carry with them certain expectations of what this person is supposed to be like, what they're supposed to be about, what's supposed to be important to them. So if we can apply these archetypes to at least these first few major arcana cards, that should help you get a better understanding of how the cards work. And as you go through your learning process, you will learn how to come up with your own archetypes. And that really truly is the best way to do it. But I'm going to give you some that come to mind for me that work really well for me. And then you can take those and expand on them. So the first one is this concept of a hitchhiker, right? This guy in the picture, he's not particularly well prepared, although he is more prepared than the fool. He has a bigger backpack. um, but he's getting ready to set out on an adventure, and he's not really sure what this adventure is going to bring. He doesn't even know, how he's going to get there. So this guy's just getting ready, and we're going to see what the universe is willing to bring him. Dory from Finding Nemo is another one. She just has this um, innocence and this zest for everything in life, and everything is so exciting. But she's really, really pretty ill prepared to take part in all of those things, right? Forrest Gump is another one. Um, One of my favorites is just envisioning the clueless college freshman. They're standing in front of their dorm. Their parents just gave them a big hug goodbye. Around them are all of their things that they're going to need. You know, they've got their microwave and their refrigerator and their little hot pot and everything they need for this upcoming exciting adventure of the rest of their lives. And then clearly the last one that I have on my list is a very obvious one: explorers and adventurers, right? Those people who are willing to take chances and do things that the rest of us aren't always willing to take a chance on. Um, those are archetypes of the fool. All right, we're coming to the end of this video. And finally, we're getting to the questions that are helpful to ask of yourself when a card comes up in a reading. If you're having a hard time remembering the meaning of the card, you know, if you've forgotten everything else that we talked about, um, if you can remember these questions, and be aware that there is a downloadable question cheat sheet on the Moxie Coaching website if you want to take a look at that and use that. All right, question number 1. Am I being confronted with something that makes me feel less than prepared or like I need some new skills? So draw on that question of, is this guy really truly prepared? And look at that as a suggestion for what the cards might be asking of you. Next, am I planning something new? And if I'm planning something new, does that thing need more attention? Am I paying attention to all of the little details that I'm supposed to be paying attention to? Or am I foolishly rushing ahead and doing what I like to do, which is get to the fun stuff and ignore all the other stuff? So ask yourself that question. Another question you might want to ask yourself is, if this card is giving you a message, is this card a good indication that now is time to start a new adventure? Is this card giving you a kick in the butt that's telling you, all right, shake off the old stuff. It is time for a new adventure. It's time to jump into something maybe that's been scaring you or that you've been putting off. This is the time, or is this the time that you should be doing that? And then the last question that I have for you today is, are you in need of some additional information in order to make an informed decision? Is this card coming up for you because it is suggesting that maybe you're not quite as prepared as you thought you were to jump into this project or this task or make the decision that you've been trying to make? Please remember that these questions that I'm going to be giving you are just super basic, first level questions. I would recommend that you maybe even though you can go to the website, but if you wanted to, you can go to the website and then also keep your own list, because the more you spend time reading the tarot, the more time that you spend looking at how the cards sort of fit together like a puzzle and how uh, the pieces can give us clues into our daily lives. I think the more valuable you're going to find the tarot, and the more valuable you're going to find those questions. Um, Use questions that make sense to you. Ask questions that resonate with you. Certainly, if mine work for you, absolutely go ahead and use them, or use those as a starting point for your own. All right, that is it. We are all set. Next week, we're going to be talking about the Magician. The Magician is officially card number 1 in the Major Arcana. All right, that's it for our first official video. Looking forward to seeing you guys all next week. Please do me a favor and like and subscribe and hit the little dingy thing, all of those good things, so you can get that video when it comes out. Everybody be careful out there, be safe, be well, and I will look forward to talking to you next week. Bye-bye.